welcome to the Doc G Show, a radio show cluster. Without further ado, critics have said he has the face for radio and a voice for silent films. Your host, Ben Doc G Gordon.
And we are on the air. Welcome to the Doc G Show. I'm your host, Doc G. With me, as always, the one, the only, Mikey Maximus, the Furnicus.
Say what?
Charette.
Doc G, what's up?
Woo. Mike, I don't want to, I don't know if any of the listeners caught it there, but I had a little gastrointestinal distress in the introduction right there.
Oh, really?
I had to burp, not to disgust everyone, but I had to burp, and it came out as I was introducing the show. Earl, come on! I apologize, listeners.
I didn't notice.
Oh, good. I covered it up then. I just announced it then to everyone. I'm sorry, listeners, to disgust you from the get-go, but I had to. Mike, how are you living?
I'm living great, man. How are you? How's life?
Yeah. I'm not going to oversell it. You know me, Mike.
Nope.
We're going to put it right at a 7.2 out of 10.
Yeah, you're a busy guy.
That's what we're going to put it.
These days.
7.2. But, Mike, I do have some very exciting news.
Ooh. What do we got?
I sent you the exciting news. I sent you the text this past week. One of our favorite topics on the show, Mike.
Yep.
CNN did a full article on bidet popularity, Mike.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
My goodness, Mike. I was blown away. Now, if you don't know, Mike, apparently we were behind on this trend.
Word.
The Doc G Show was not like the first to get on bidets. Apparently.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Apparently, America was way ahead of us. You know, if you remember, it was this past summer that I found my love of bidets. That's when I found it. Apparently, people went bananas for bidets during the pandemic, Mike.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, which makes sense when you think about it, you know?
The toilet paper, yeah.
Exactly. People freaking out about toilets are like, hey, how about we just spray our butts? Yeah, sounds good. High five, you know? And I mean, literally, it does speak to the wealth of America when you're like, we can't buy paper. How about we just buy this giant bidet? Yeah, sounds good. We'll install it tomorrow. Like, it's a costly solution to like $3 toilet paper, you know? It's a lot. But Mike, the bidet market, how much do you think the bidet market increased in 2020?
How much do I think it increased?
Give me a percentage.
I would say like 60%.
300%, Mike.
Whoa, way off.
300%.
Wow.
And then, unlike most things that, decreased after the pandemic, like Peloton using and Zoom using, that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Bidet markets have continued to increase, Mike. 2021, 20% increase. 2022, 20% increase. 2023, 30% increase.
Jeez.
Gosh. Can you believe it, Mike?
Wow.
Yeah. America was partying with bidets.
Yeah.
And me and you were sitting around not partying with bidets like a bunch of morons.
Wow. Yeah. Still not.
Yeah.
I mean,
you got to get on it.
Honest.
Got to get on it. In the article.
I feel like with that 300% rise, I'm going to be forced to use a bidet at some point in the future.
I'm going to have
no option.
You're going to have to go in the splash zone, Mike. You're going to have to get in there. Like, the article explains some of Americans' hesitancy to buy bidets. This is one of my favorite parts of the article, Mike. It says some folks buy non-electric attachments that only spray cold water, found for less than $50 on sites like Amazon. Others have found an even cheaper alternative. Joe from Michigan, who did not want to be identified by his last name, said he grabbed a bidet attachment to a toilet being discarded on the side of the street and purchased an adapter hose to fit it into his home, in parentheses, after sanitizing it.
Ew.
First of all, Mike, my biggest question, how did CNN get in contact with Joe? Like, where did Joe come from? Did, like, CNN do a survey, or did they send out an email, or did a random guy from Detroit just call up CNN and be like, hey, I picked up a bidet off of the side of the street, just thought you guys should know. Yeah, I don't want to give you my last name. All right, I'll see you later. Like, just like, where did Joe come from? Where did he come from, Mike?
Where did Joe come from?
Secondly, I don't doubt that Joe didn't want to be identified from his last name.
Nope.
Like, Joe will be publishing this article later in the week. Would you like your full name printed? Yes, absolutely. Can we put a picture of me standing beside the dumpster that I pulled my bidet seat out of? That'd be great. Like, no, you don't want to be added to that.
No.
And lastly, I do like how they added the line, Mike, sanitizing it. Come on, CNN. We know there wasn't any sanitizing.
There wasn't.
That didn't happen. He just went to town with that thing as soon as he got it. Went to town.
Rinsed it off.
Just, that should be good.
Water.
Gave it the old once-over with a paper towel and was like, that should be good. I think we're good.
Yeah.
Mike, in the article, it also talks about how bidets have been seen as something foreign to Americans. And when you think about it, that fits the bill, because I fell in love with the bidet after seeing it in my getaway pad in Montevideo, if you remember. You know? You know? But I like, in the article, it says, many Asian and Middle Eastern countries utilize, quote, bum guns, or low-cost handheld sprayers attached by a hose to the side of the toilet, or jugs that look like watering cans.
Huh?
Yeah. I'm going to be honest, Mike. I was on board with the bum guns and the sprayers. That sounds like a good idea. I don't know about the watering can.
Yeah, the water can, it doesn't seem like it would work. So you just pour it down like you're watering plants or something?
I was about to say, sounds like you're going to have a doo-doo water running down your leg, man. That's not what I'm looking for. You need some high power going towards. Yeah, going towards the hole. That's what you need. Now, Mike, CNN actually tested out bidets. They gave us a little insight into what we should get. And they said, quote, if you're looking for a low-cost bidet that's simple to set up, effective, but not overly complicated, you know what they went with, Mike? You know what they suggested?
What?
Tushy Classic 3.0.
Tushy Classic 3.0.
Yeah, the Tushy Classic, Mike.
That.
We talked about it. That's what we read the reviews about. Yeah. They agree, man. They said out of all the attachable bidet seats, that the Tushy Classic had the most comfortable stream and adjustable nozzle. So there you go.
Okay.
But listeners, you don't need to take CNN's word for it. You can read one of the 1,000 reviews that Tushy Classics have. And I have another one, Mike. Don't worry. This one's very short. This is Bob. You ready? Bob posted this a mere month ago. He said, quote, working like a charm. I blast for a good 10 seconds, and I'm all done. Yes! Yeah, you do, Bob. You blast like there's no tomorrow. Yes! Yes! Mike, are you ready to blast this show off?
Let's blast the show off.
Woo!
RG.
All three engines up and burning. 2, 1, 0, and lift off.
Woo! We have a fantastic show, Mike. Super guest, founding member of the legendary band Foghat. My goodness, Foghat. They ruled the 70s. Yes! Oh, no, if you know this, Mike, but they had 5 gold albums, 2 platinum albums. These guys were everywhere. I think you know, Mike. I love the movie Dazed and Confused, which Dazed and Confused is about the 70s. It was made in the 90s. 2 Foghat songs on the soundtrack. That's correct.
Oh,
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah. Mr. Roger Earl is going to be on the show. He's fantastic. We're going to talk to him about everything, the career, moving to Long Island. He moved to America, Mike, for fishing. He got interested in fishing bluefish. Somebody invited him to go bluefish fishing in Long Island. And apparently, he still gets down on fishing all the time, almost every day. It's all about it.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's right.
Bluefish is ocean fish, right?
Ocean fish.
So he moved to America to fish for bluefish.
Well, he was intrigued. That was one of the reasons that he fell in love with Long Island, was fishing for bluefish off of Long Island. He did it, and he was like, this is effing awesome. Why aren't I doing this every day? And he moved. That's what he did.
There it is. That's it.
But, Mike, before we actually talk to Roger, we need to start where we start.
Birthday suit.
That is correct.
Happy birthday, Mr. President.
That is correct. Mike, I dug it up. You took a couple hits the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
You're 21 and a half out of 33. So you're still over 60%. So you're still...
Well, that's good.
And I think you can hit 3 for 3 today.
Okay, cool.
I think you can do it. I think you can do it. First one, here we go. Here's the condensed clue. She's a famous singer with songs like Emotions, Dream Lover, Fantasy, Always Be My Baby, One Sweet Day, and her super mega famous Christmas single, All I Want for Christmas Is You. Name that birthday suit wearer.
Mariah Carey.
That is correct. Nicely done, Mike. 1 for 1. Well done. Well done. Born in Huntington, New York, Mike. Her mom was an opera singer, which I did know that.
Oh,
and
that's cool.
yeah, that was who taught her those 5-octave ranges, you know. And her dad was an aeronautical engineer. Wow. Yeah. Yeah. Had her first album, had the songs like Vision of Love and Someday. Sold 15 million albums. She then released Emotions, which the song Emotions, that's a jam right there. That's the one that really shows off her octave. She hits that like note that's not a real note. It's some impossible dog whistle that you're just like, what the hell did she get that high? Like, that's crazy. It's super impressive, man. And then in 94, she released her Christmas album, which sold over 15 million albums. And her song, All I Want for Christmas Is You, highest selling Christmas single of all time, Mike. Highest selling Christmas single of all time, yeah.
I can believe that.
Yeah. Then in 95, she released Daydream, which to me, that's peak Mariah right there. That's the real deal stuff. I mean, that's sweet. One Sweet Day, Always Be My Baby, Fantasy.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Those are the jams right there.
The bangers. Yep.
Yeah. She's won 6 Grammys, 19 World Music Awards, sold 220 million records. She's in the Songwriting Hall of Fame, and she has a Hollywood star. She is one of the greatest female artists of all time, Mariah Carey. Happy birthday, Mariah. Let's see. What is she turning? She's turning 54. 55. 55. Wow. Oh, didn't know Mariah was that old. I guess I did. I wasn't thinking about it.
Makes sense.
Anyways, Mike, you ready to rip some headlines?
Let's rip some headlines.
It's now time for Rip from the Headlines.
Mike, I'm going to let the world know something that you let me in on a couple weeks back. You are down to clown with an old world Fanceroni pizza from time to time.
Oh my goodness. So good, Doc G. Oh, they're so good. Oh, that's so bad for you, but so good.
The Little Caesars Fanceroni is Mike's jam. And Mike,
oh my God.
I have a warning for you. They got a new item at Little Caesars. Have you seen this?
No, I don't know.
They've got Crazy Puffs.
Say what? Crazy Puffs.
Yeah. Crazy Puffs. And the people are loving the Crazy Puffs, Mike. They're going crazy for them on X. formerly known as Twitter, Vanessa Huxtable, said, yeah, this is about to be Little Caesar's moneymaker right here. And she shot a hot pic of these crazy puffs, Mike. Basically, they almost look like, to me, like little, I don't know what you would, like muffins. Just little muffins with cheese on top and pepperoni on the inside. And they look hot, Mike. They look hot. You get 4 of them in a pack. Yes! 4 crazy puffs to a pack. But Mike, there may be.
Oh yeah, those look awesome.
Right?
Oh man, I'm trying that.
They look crispy on the edges. They look good. They look good. But there may be a
I've never seen anything like that. Sorry.
Revolutionary, Mike. Revolutionary.
I'm like forgetting I'm on a show. I'm like, oh my god. This is beautiful.
Mike just walks off. It's a commercial for Little Caesars. He just walks off to Little Caesars.
Hey, where are you going, bro?
There may be a revolution though, because Little Caesars or not revolution. I just said revolution. There may be a revolt, Mike, by Little Caesars employees, because employees have been posting on social media, please remove it. I can't stand making them anymore. Another said, I can't stand the sight of this thing. I never want to make another crazy puff as long as I live. Apparently.
Oh my gosh, that means we need to get them because they're about to stop making them.
Exactly. Yep. You need to get them while they last, Mike.
I'll get them tonight.
There it is.
Get them after the show.
He's scheduling it. He's scheduling it, everybody. Mike, little story from Australia.
They're gonna sigh on the phone like, oh god, okay, 5 orders, guys, 5 orders.
You got to stockpile them, Mike. Freeze them. I'm gonna freeze these for later. Mike, a little story from Australia. An 8-year-old girl, Ruby McClellan, has purchased her first house after pulling pocket money with her siblings, making her the youngest house owner in Australia.
Wow.
Mike, I thought I'd just give you a reason to hate an 8-year-old girl today.
Yeah, can we move on? Next story, Doctor.
I do have to say, though, a lot of interesting things about this story. One, Mike, the 8-year-old apparently they put $6,000 deposit down on this 4-bedroom property in Victoria, Australia. It's a $960,000 house. I got to say, Mike, pretty impressive that the down payment in Australia is 0.5%. You can get away with 0.5% down payment? That's not bad, man. That is not bad.
No way.
Second,
not America.
I got to say, Mike, I wouldn't really call $6,000 pocket money for 8-year-olds.
Nope.
It seems a little bit higher than pocket. Oh! Found $6,000. You want to go buy a house? It's right beside my candy.
My piggy bank is getting a little full. How much is it?
How much is a house these days? Let's buy one. Ruby's parents set it up as a rental property, Mike, and it's positively geared, so their rental payments they're receiving are bigger than the mortgage payment, so pays for itself, obviously. Mike, I really hope the dad and mom take care of dealing with the tenants, though. That's a fact. Really, talk about a demeaning thing to deal with when you're the person renting the house. Like talking to an 8-year-old about fixing things. Hey, Ruby, it's been. When you get a chance, give me a call. I know you're in 2nd grade art class, but my toilet's overflowing again. Thanks, Ruby. Like, it's just nobody wants to deal with that.
Sorry, I have a meeting on Roblox at 4:30. Can I?
You don't.
Push it back
It's already demeaning. You're a renter. You don't want to have to deal with an 8-year-old. I want a landlord that's like 96, Mike. You know, you want a landlord that's older than time. So you're like, well, this feels right.
That's great.
This feels
My rent
acceptable.
is $50.
Yeah.
Back in my day.
Exactly.
Did you see that Will Ferrell sketch with the little girl?
Oh,
and she shows
yeah.
up and she's the landlord. Mm-hmm. That's exactly what she's feeling.
That's it. Mike, quick story out of Tampa. Florida Highway Patrol are searching for a, quote, suspect who allegedly carjacked an emergency response vehicle. Oh. Yeah, so back on March 2nd, around 2 a.m., there was a wreck with a truck on Highway I-75. The man who wrecked the truck then hijacked an American medical response truck.
Word.
Florida Highway Patrol said he continued to Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard, where he was spotted by police, but deputies started to chase him, but eventually lost sight. And I got to say, that's the saddest response I've ever heard, Mike. There he goes! Yeah, he's going pretty fast, though. I don't think we're going to catch him. Yeah, he's out of sight now. All right, let's forget about it.
He turned off the lights.
Yeah, so what can we do? We're done. But the guy then crashed the truck about 10 minutes later, Mike, and the in-car camera system took photos of the suspect in the vehicle, and the truck was abandoned.
That's a fact.
Now, Mike, real quick, I will go back to the headline and remind you, quote, Florida Highway Patrol are searching for a suspect who allegedly carjacked an emergency response vehicle. I don't think they need to say allegedly in the case where you have a picture of him stealing the car. It's not allegedly. It's that dude in the picture stole this car, Mike.
Innocent until proven guilty, Doc G.
Unless these are AI-generated car wreck pictures, Mike. I
need proof.
Apparently they do. They are being safe, Mike. Safe. Mike, scary situation, especially for hypochondriacs like myself here. Texas man Steven Spinelli ended up in several newspapers over the last year or so because he barely survived several horrible illnesses. He had a bacterial infection. He had sepsis. He had influenza. He had double pneumonia. And he had to be put in a medically induced coma for 3 weeks.
Jeez.
But he's finally on his way back to recovery, Mike, after a year of fighting all these issues. And this all started, apparently, because he had an ingrown pubic hair.
Wait, what?
Ah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Not good.
And I got to say, Mike, do you think when he left the hospital, he was like, whoa, that escalated quickly, you guys. That was a lot. Am I right? It was one hair. What the that was yeesh.
Just leave him alone. Just leave him alone. Don't mess with him.
One of the other things that I found interesting about the article, Mike, was that it kept talking to his sister in the article. And his sister at one point told the news agency the doctors gave him a 4% chance to live. And it was one of those things when she said they gave him a 4% chance to live. I was just like, how'd they come up with that? What was where'd the 4% come from?
Good question.
Like, is this an artificial intelligence software? You like put in all the vitals and all the issues and it gives you a good guesstimation? Or is this just some old doctor being like, I give him 4%. I'd say 4. He looks like a 4%. That's what I'm giving. 3.
96% likely chance this guy's gonna die.
Yeah.
It's like 96.
I was gonna say 95, but I'm raising it up 1%. That's 1%. No, I don't like the way his hair looks right now. 96. Like,
Yeah.
Mike, this might be the best story of the week here. This is a great story from Ohio. A dad was arrested after police say he called 18 or 19 times in under an hour to complain about his son's homework.
Wait, what?
So first off, Mike, I do have to point out, you're the police. I think you can hammer it down whether it was 18 or 19 times in under an hour.
So true.
You don't have to say 18 or 19. It's very easy to go back and be like, he called. Here's the call record 19 times. Like, just saying. You didn't do your job, guys. Second, Mike, Detective Sergeant Adam Price said, quote, "It was disruptive. This is a K through 5 school, so there's not an abnormal amount of homework," end quotes. I think you got to tell the detective, even if it was an abnormal amount of homework, it's not something you call the cops about. It's not like you would have been like, hey, a high school down the road, they've been handing out book reports every week. We're shutting that down. They're not doing it ever again. Like, seems a bit much, Mike, you know? But
that's pretty funny. Yeah, could you send somebody over? My son has a lot of homework.
It's too much.
Too
much. The dad, his name is Adam Sizemore, Mike. He talked to the Today Show and said, quote, "Most of the accusations aren't true. I'm a single dad of a boy and a girl," which I don't know why that matters, "and I'm just trying to do the best I can, and that's all I can do. People make mistakes." I will say, Adam, it sounds like you made 18 to 19 mistakes. That was roughly how many you made. First, Mike, he started calling the school, actually, before he called the police.
Oh, okay.
He called the school telling them they need to stop giving homework. The school said he was cursing at secretaries while making these demands. When they filed the police report, they noted that Sizemore... This is the best part. They noted that Sizemore's speech was slurred. When Sizemore was asked if he was intoxicated, he clarified he was high. Thank you.
Thank you.
No, I am not intoxicated. I'm stoned. Bags. Oh, so
I
good.
wouldn't be that irresponsible.
Exactly.
So funny.
Start thinking about this homework when I'm stoned, not when I'm drunk. After he harassed the schools, Mike, 2 officers actually went to his house, but he refused to answer the door.
So true.
He would not answer the door, so they let him go. But after that, he started calling the police station. He left the police a voicemail where he said, quote, "You've got a little bit of an chewing coming your way because of your employees, the ones I pay for. So if you could call me back." Mike, I'm going to go ahead and bet all my money that this guy hasn't paid his taxes in about 10 years, despite his claims of the ones I pay for. I guarantee every person that says like that does not pay their taxes.
Yeah. The old guilt trip. The old tax
don't.
Trip. No.
Regardless, Mike, Adam was arrested for telecommunications harassment. And I do got to say, Mike, they make fun of Florida man. Come on, that is an Ohio man right there. That is Ohio.
Actually, up top at the beginning of that story, I thought you were telling me that he was calling the cops on his kids for basically not doing their homework.
No. He was looking out for his kids, Mike.
Okay.
Looking out for his kids. Man, these kids are getting too much homework.
You would think if he was smoking weed, he would be like, you know what, just don't do the homework.
Exactly.
Yeah, we'll get through it. We'll figure it out.
Dude, man.
Don't tell your mom.
I've got Bob Marley going. Let's just listen to that. Screw your homework. Like, yeah, I could see that. But apparently this guy gets anxious. He gets very anxious. Mike, real quick, little story out of Port Angeles, Washington. Man reportedly attempted to rob the Dollar Tree at 3456 East Highway 101. Want to make sure you know the address just in case you use that Dollar Tree. He came in around 8 p.m., waved a gun at the 2 employees that were working. He then told them that he would shoot them if they didn't give him any money. As he was threatening them, he fumbled with the gun and 2 bullets fell on the floor. He then told the clerk to sit down while a manager opened the safe, and he gave him $1,894 in cash, Mike. He left the store in an unknown vehicle, and witnesses said they heard tires squealing as the man took off. So first off, thanks, witnesses. Squealing tires. That narrows it down to only cars that have functional engines. We appreciate it. Very nice. Woohoo! Second, Mike, wouldn't you load the gun before you go in to rob a store? Like, that seems very unprepared by this fella. Coming in there, waving his gun. Oh, God, the bullets. Oh, hold on a second. They're down here somewhere. Like, just got to prepare a little bit more than that, you know?
Make it more dramatic, though, when you put the bullets in. All right.
Click, click.
I'm going to give you one last...
But then they drop out, and the person just hits you over the head, and you're like, oh, should have.
Or like you can't figure out how to put the bullets in. You're like, wait a second. What's this?
This doesn't look like the old Gunsmoke show. I don't know how these bullets load. Anybody?
I need a revolver.
Can you help me out? Anybody? I'm usually used to using a musket. Does anybody have their clearing scope? Anywho, Mike.
When was the last time somebody robbed a convenience store with a musket? Hold on a sec.
I'm gonna Google it, Mike. We're gonna find out the last time somebody robbed a store with a musket. Mike, we are going to be right back. We are going to hear from Foghat right here. This is one of their classics. This is I Just Want to Make Love to You right here on the Doc G Show. And we are back here on the Doc G Show. You just heard Foghat. Mike, what do the listeners need to do?
Well, Doc G, if the listeners feel like the show is a positive way to waste their time, they should please subscribe to the show on so many platforms. We're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Check us out on YouTube, SoundCloud, wherever you get your podcasts. It is a cost-effective way to support the show. And if the listeners are feeling extra generous, they should please leave us a 5-star review and a comment. We love comments. And also, tell a friend about the show.
Amen.
We appreciate it.
Amen. Mike, we need to thank those regular listeners.
We do.
I'm going to do that right now. Here we go. Shout out to Jacksonville, Florida, Columbia, South Carolina, Radford, Virginia, Gainesville, Florida, Frankfurt, Germany, Anoka, Minnesota, Ashburn, Virginia, Pircai, Brazil, San Diego, California, Dublin, Ireland, Boardman, Oregon, Genoa, Italy, Richmond, Texas, Barcelona, Spain, Winfield, West Virginia, Biloxi, Mississippi, Tulsa, Oklahoma, Peoria, Illinois, Katy, Texas, Toms River, New Jersey, Olive Branch, Mississippi, Asheville, North Carolina, Los Angeles, California, Spartanburg, South Carolina, Athens, Georgia, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, Chicago, Illinois, Boynton, Virginia, and Fort Lauderdale. Woo!
Cool.
Woo!
Thank you.
There we go. 5-star listens, Mike. Give it up. They're the regulars.
Thank you.
They're the regulars. I like it. 4-star listens, Mike. Let me tell you. Shout out. First off, Louisville, Texas. Shout out to Louisville. Shout out to Fleming Island, Florida. Shout out to Fleming. Shout out to Louisville, Kentucky. All right. Shout out to them. Pleasantville, New Jersey. Shout out to them. You know, there's a lot of Pleasantvilles, Mike. A lot of places trying to act like they're pleasant. I don't know if they all are. I think it might be false advertising for a couple of them.
Yeah, I think so.
But if they're listening to the Doc G Show, we're going to count them as pleasant. You guys in Pleasantville, New Jersey are very pleasant. We will count that. Shout out to Vancouver, Canada. Shout out to Columbus, Ohio. Eindhoven, Netherlands, still coming in with the listens. Thanks, Eindhoven. Yes! Are we saying your name wrong? I feel like we're saying it wrong. It's all right. Poughkeepsie, New York. Shout out to you guys. Greensboro, North Carolina. Shout out to you. Atlanta, Georgia. Shout out to you. Sao Paulo, Brazil. Shout out to you. Norcross, Georgia. Tonala, Mexico. Shout out to you. And lastly, Hildesburg. Let's go Hildesburg. Hildesburg, California. There we go, Mike. 4-star listens. And Mike, real quick, I forgot. Hold on. I gotta bring up the analytics real quick here. I forgot to give us the top five the top 5 international countries, but don't worry. Here they are in ascending order. Spain, number 5. Mexico, number 4. Brazil, number 3. Germany, number 2. Netherlands, number 1. There we go. Nice, Mike. Mike, I don't have too much, but I did want to know, let the listeners know, we looked up when the last time store was robbed with a musket. Apparently, the last significant robbery was in 2016, and it failed. This happened in South Carolina, listeners. It was not a successful robbery. Apparently, people were not that intimidated by the musket. So, if you were planning on doing this yourself, listeners, don't. It's probably not going to be successful. But regardless, Mike, we got to take a break. We are going to be right back. We are going to be right back with the one and only Roger Earl from Foghat, right here on the Doc G Show. Welcome back to the show, everybody. We are super happy to be welcoming the legendary drummer of the world-famous Foghat, Mr. Roger Earl. Roger, how are you, sir?
I'm doing great. How are you doing, Gordon? Life is good. I'm up in New York at the moment. It's a beautiful day. I just got back from a couple of mile walk. It's like nearly 60 degrees, which is will take. Yeah, but how is it down in sunny Jacksonville, Florida?
Oh, it's just as good. It's just about 20 degrees warmer, though. So,
we have a studio down in Florida in the land where we do recording and rehearsing, and 3 guys who are in the band all live in Florida.
How the studio, was it because of the other guys? Is that why it ended up in Florida?
No, I don't know why people end up where they do. It's sort of like I live on Long Island. That's where the boat dropped me off. No, after our lead singer Lonesome Dave passed, I knew that we had to have somewhere to record and rehearse and play. If we were going to sort of remain relevant, for want for a better word. And it was one of the best moves I made. Friend of ours let us use his studio, and then we bought a house in DeLand, and we were going to sort of turn the garage into a studio, but we decided we set up in the living room. It sounds great. So it's comfortable. You can have a cup of tea, cup of coffee, or something stronger. Kitchen's right there. And the band stays there, and we've made 5 albums recorded there, studio albums, and we rehearse there every year. It's great.
Nice. Just convert the whole house. Gonna do the garage. Let's do the whole thing.
That's right.
Well, I heard actually, talking about you being in Long Island, I heard you talking. I think it was. I can't remember. You've done so many interviews, but I heard it was something that got you really interested. Was fishing for bluefish on Long Island.
I fish, therefore I am. Actually, I've fished since I was about 5 or 6 years old. My dad took me fishing down in Teddington on the River Thames. I got my first fly rod when I was 7, which was an American fly rod, actually. It was a solid glass one. It was 7.5 foot, I think. And I find it really relaxing. But what happened was 1969 was the first tour I did when I was in Savoy Brown. We came to the States. Mm-hmm. One of the guys was working for the beer company that was promoting the tour. And we got talking about fishing. And he said, "You ever caught bluefish or a striped bass?" I said, "No." He said, "You want to come and stay at my parents' house on Long Island and see if we can catch them?" And I said, "Okay." And that was the start of my relationship with Long Island. And I love this place. It's a big sandbar, but I've met some terrific people here. Hey, New Yorkers, hey, how you doing? It's my new home. I like it here. I also spend quite a bit of time in Florida, so I think I have the best of both worlds.
Now, do you still get your fish on in both locations?
Yeah, well, actually, within the next month, the striped bass should be moving into my backyard, and they're good fun to catch on, especially on light tackle. It's a beautiful part of the country, and actually, when during the COVID nightmare when we couldn't do anything, I say stuck at home, but I went fishing just about every other day. I grew vegetables in the garden and beat the deer and the rabbits to it. I actually sort of survived that okay. It was like I was like on holiday vacation.
Yeah.
But it was a nightmare generally all round. It was kind of weird not playing, for a couple of years. That was pretty strange. But other than that, I dealt with it.
Well, on the fishing, are you a catch and release? Or are you eating them?
I put all the big stripers back. I keep the ones that are legal. Take what you need and leave the rest. Unfortunately, I haven't caught any bluefish in a couple of years. I don't know why. Maybe they're catching them before they even get into the Sound, Long Island Sound. But I put them back if I'm not going to eat them. Trout and salmon. I eat the salmon, of course, when I get to some place where you can catch them. Trout I release pretty much. Catch and release. Take what you need and leave the rest.
I hear the bluefish is a pretty solid like sushi fish.
I like bluefish, but you have to cook them when they're first caught. Obviously they're going to be on ice when you're in the boat. But I like bluefish. I learned how to fillet them. Actually, I learned to fillet fish through our old manager's father. We used to call him the chief, because when I first came to Long Island and went fishing, the chief said, "Well, you know how to fillet fish?" And I said, "Kinda." And he showed me.
I get.
I have to thank the chief for that, Mr. OT. Nice. He was a really, really interesting and funny guy. He also showed me how to drink Manhattans.
Now, did he manage you through Foghat as well?
Well, no, I'm talking about our manager's father.
Okay.
The chief, he taught me how to sort of fillet and drink Manhattans. Tony Otita was our first manager, but we have Linda now as our manager. She's managed us for the last 25, 30 years, I guess, something like that.
Well, now you mainly Foghat mainly moved to America thanks to Albert Grossman there, picking you guys up on Bearsville Records. Now I heard. I've heard you say a bunch of times nobody else was going for you. There was nobody looking for Foghat at the time, turning you down. We made a 6-song demo, and our manager at the time said he shopped it to the record companies, and they all turned us down. But Albert Grossman came over. He came over with the band. The band were touring over in Europe and England, and Todd Rundgren was with him, and I rented a room in northwest London, Islington. It was a room just off a pub, and in the afternoon Albert came, and nobody else was in there except Albert, our manager, and our roadie. And we had high Watts and Marshalls. He was about 20 feet in front of me. He had big long silver hair, and he went as we started playing. But he gave us our shot. He heard something he liked. We went across the road, had some tea and biscuits, and he sat there and he'd do this kind of thing. And the tea and biscuits arrived, and he said, "Well, hey, let's do it." And that was it. He sent me $10,000 about a month or so later. And I booked time at Rockfield Studios in Wales. Yeah.
And that was the start of our trip. That's where we met Dave Edmonds. Dave was working on his own record. We were sort of self-producing at the time. And we are not producers. We weren't then anyway. And Dave Edmunds had the night shift, and we had the day shift, and it would cross over a little bit. It was the same room that we were all in.
Mm-hmm.
Dave was actually mixing stuff, and we listened to his stuff, and it sounded great, and we listened to ours, and it didn't sound very good at all. So our manager asked him if he would produce us, and he said, "Well, yeah, but I have to finish my record first." And Dave Edmunds mixed our first album and produced it, and he's the one who put the magic on it. I think the only reason that record was successful, I think, was because Dave Edmunds had his hand in it. Brilliant producer, fantastic musician, a really, really cool guy, and I'm eternally grateful to him.
Well, I want to go to a little bit of that magic on the first album, but real quick on Albert. I found it interesting because, you know, when I was going back, I mean, you guys are hard rock, boogie rock. It's you know, you got these distorted guitars. It's like you said, you had High Watts Marshalls blowing his hair back. And I mean, he's working with people like Dylan and Peter, Paul and Mary and Joplin. And then there's Foghat.
And the band and Todd Rundgren. So he had, but Albert had, Albert obviously knew what he liked, and he saw something and heard something in the band. I mean, we probably made millions and millions of dollars for him. I mean, the first album sold over 1 million. They all sold over 1 million. The live album sold a couple of million.
Yeah.
Fall for the City sold a couple of million or more. Yeah. So more than made his money back.
Well,
but album was really cool. He especially when we did the Energized album, which was around 74.
Yeah.
We put a lot of effort into that, into advertising. The band was playing anywhere and everywhere, like we still do. This band has always loved to play. It was never about sitting back and having hit records or whatever. We made music. We still do it. You make music. And generally, except other than once or twice, any singles or stuff that were released, that was up to the record company. But the record companies never told us what to do. It was always the band who picked the songs, recorded them. You know, we worked with really good engineers and really good producers. Producer actually is like somebody who just joins the band for the duration of the record, I think.
For sure. Well, now, you mentioned your first album and the work of the producer there, and I always love when a group comes in with a hard hitter as the first song on the first album. Like, you know, it's that statement piece. We're here. This is
make your statement.
Yeah. And
the song was originally written. It was Muddy Waters, and Willie Dixon actually wrote the song "I Just Want to Make Love to You," which was a classic, blues song. Was a big hit for sort of Muddy Waters. Yeah. And actually, myself and Dave and the original bass player Tony Stevens would jam it when we were in Savoy Brown at sound checks. And of course, when Rod Price joined the band, because he had some magic fingers. He was a great guitar player, great slide guitar player. And I think we sort of turned it into this rock monster. And actually, it'd been played by a number of bands over the years. Like the Stones did a really sort of fast version of it, like with a kind of a Bo Diddley kind of feel to it. I mean, it's about every band in the land recorded that song, but
you had that. Yeah, well, I mean, you guys, that was the thing, is you took, I mean, you had that slinky guitar, the call and response guitar from going back and forth at the beginning.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, was that, like you said, was that just something that sort of started molding itself over those sound checks, that you started changing it a little bit here, doing this, adding that?
Yeah. It all comes from jams. Most of the songs that we do, even to this day, they come from jams. Like sound checks, will somebody be playing a riff, or Scott Holt, our singer and guitar player, will start playing something, and our sound engineer will tape it, or somebody will hold up a phone and go, "I got it, dude, I got it." But a lot of songs come from it. Or sometimes, Scott Holt or myself will have an idea for a song, some lyrics, or there'll be a blues tune we'll be jamming down at the studio, and we go, and Brian will have rolled the tape, and we go, "That sounds pretty good. Maybe we'll keep it." Actually, what happened with our current album, Sonic Mojo, because there was a break, because of the COVID horror show, we forgot a lot of the stuff we were doing. So when we went back into the studio, it was almost like we were starting over. And throughout the days and nights, Brian would sort of run the tapes and start listening to stuff, and we go, "Who's that?" Brian said, "That's you and Scott. You were playing one night." We go, "That sounds good." And they go, "Well, let's put some vocals and bass on it, or take it somewhere else." But
we should hire those guys. Who are they?
Yeah, that's one of the joys of having your own place where you can be creative, and make music. You don't have to worry about red lights or the other stuff, and it's fun. The band gets real tight, so that when we go out on the road, we know all the songs, or have extra songs, and we can play because sometimes we have to play, especially if we're playing with 3 or 4 bands, maybe we've only get like 50 minutes to play, or an hour. And then other times when it's our show, so long as it's a non-union hall, they want us to, we can play as long as we want. We'll play for an hour and 50 minutes. Yeah. Let's do that one. It's entertaining the crowd.
Yeah. Well, I mean, a little bit a blend of both of those things, entertaining the crowd and getting to have sort of your own space. I heard you talk about a show you guys did, and I'm sure you remember this show because you said it was one of your favorite moments. You guys put on a show there to promote the Stone Blue album back in the day.
Oh, okay.
And you at the New York Palladium, and you had Muddy Waters there.
Oh, right, yeah.
John Lee Hooker, Johnny Winter, Eddie Kirkland, Paul Butterfield. You guys were such blues fans. Yeah. What was it like playing with those heroes of yours?
It was a highlight of my life. It was a highlight, doubly so because the band was very successful at the time. I had more money than sense. My wife says if I had a dime, I've had more money than sense. Doesn't stop that. Actually, it was my father's 60th birthday, 1977, 77. And I brought Mum and Dad over, got them a hotel room in Manhattan, and they came to the show. Now, they knew who Muddy Waters was because one of the first records I ever bought of his was Muddy Waters Live at Newport from 1960. And I played that record over and over again. And then, of course, I found all the other Muddy Waters stuff that he'd done. And so they knew who he was. So we're backstage, and Muddy was a beautiful man. I mean, really, really cool guy. I mean, apart from being like this magic blues man who everybody loved. And I introduced Mum and Dad. I said, "Mum and Dad, this is Mr. Muddy Waters. Mr. Muddy Waters, my mum and dad." And I could see my parents beaming because there's their youngest son playing with one of his heroes. And that was, but I've had a number of moments like that. And I've been real fortunate. Willie Dixon, we went to his house and had dinner one time. He came to a show to see us because he wrote "I Just Want to Make Love to You," and it was hit twice over. So it was like, he'd sent the kids down to see us, and he said, "See what those Foghat boys have got under their fingernails? I'm getting all this money." And so beautiful man, wonderful sense of humor, and probably written and published well over 300 or 400 songs.
Yeah.
Yeah. We know rock and roll if it wasn't for Willie Dixon and Chuck Berry too.
That's true. Well, now, as far as that concert, I actually heard Warner Brothers recorded all of that. They have the audio, they have the video.
Yeah, we did that actually. We filmed it, and we paid for it, and we recorded it as well. Our front of house sound engineer had it mixed. I don't know where the tapes are, but he actually put it on disc as well, CD, so it's saved. It was over 4 hours of playing of music.
Has it ever been released?
No, I don't know why. I did try and talk the people into letting me go down into their vaults to find it, and they wouldn't do that. I even threatened them with physical violence, and then they threw me out.
My physical violence didn't work so well. Okay.
Pardon?
An hour of it was released on.
Oh, and, yeah, an hour of it was released, but there was a bootleg that came out. Some company in the Netherlands released it. The video's not so good and the sound's not so good, but that came out. It would be really cool if it came out.
I was about to say, I mean, that would be,
it's classic. John Lee Hooker, Muddy Waters, and this whole ensemble playing.
You were just like the house band.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Our manager, Linda, was there. She was the one who sort of handled all the arrangements backstage and everything that worked on it. She also tried to actually sell the film afterwards, but our previous manager in his, I don't want to say too much, but he decided to can it for some reason. I don't know. It should come out. I mean, Johnny Winter was just absolutely brilliant. Paul Butterfield was incredible. And Muddy, of course, and John Lee Hooker, and Eddie Bluesman Kirkland was just an absolute riot. And we became good friends, and we did a number of shows supporting Eddie. And actually, one of our albums, Eddie came down to our studio and played on like 3 or 4 songs with us.
Yeah.
So it's I got to play with my heroes. Really cool.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, something interesting to me, I was telling my brother that you were coming on the show, and we were talking about Foghat songs and every song that we liked, and we were thinking about it, and you guys are a lot of times associated with the South. I mean, you're on a compilation album called Going South. It's got the Allman Brothers, it's got 38 Special, Molly Hatchet, Leonard Skinner.
We're in good company then.
Yeah, well, and there's Foghat, and I mean, and you like the movie Dazed and Confused. You guys are on the soundtrack twice, and that's a movie that takes place in Southeast Texas. And I just sort of there seems to be a very strong association, and obviously there are a lot of things in your music that sound, Southern, that have blues roots, that have rock roots from the South. What does it mean to you to be associated with Southern rock and rock from the South?
Well, it's dead easy. I come from the Thames Delta.
Mm-hmm. It's super connected, yes.
But it's South London. Well, I grew up listening to American music. I mean, you have the blues, back at the turn of the century when they first started recording and with the early 20s and stuff. Then you had jazz, came from the blues, bebop, and then, you got rock and roll, country music, country and western, gospel music, folk music. America has this wonderful melting pot of people and influences. And out of it came American music. And even to this day, and I've said this a number of times because it's the truth, America gave music to the world. It gave us a number of other things as well, but it's given us music. Without music, life would be a mistake. It gives people joy. You can, sing and praise the Lord, or you can rock and roll. They're all related. It's all about a joyful experience. And America gave music to the world. And this band, right from the very beginning, took as many of those aspects. Obviously, rock and roll and blues were the initial things that drove us. But it's American music. And even to this day, America gives music to the world. The new artists do it. And you influence everybody. And this is my adopted home. I always wanted to come here ever since when I was about 8 years old. I told my older brother that I was going to stow away, and like he tolerated until I packed my bag one day, and he said, "Where are you going?" I said, "I'm going to stow away." That was just stupid. I got here eventually, though. It just took a while.
Yeah, I was about to say it took another decade or so.
Yeah.
Well, so Foghat took a break. You guys had super successful 70s, 5 gold records, couple platinum records. And then you guys got, you got a little burnout there around 83. And
no, I didn't. Lonesome Dave moved back to England.
You started a band, right? With
Craig. No, what I did was I carried on playing. Dave, actually, he didn't even tell me he was leaving. I got back off the road, and my wife at the time said, Dave's moving to England. His wife, Linda, is sending all their furniture back there. I said, no. I think Dave was just looking for a change. We didn't have a new record deal. We'd actually finished. We'd written like 6 new songs, which our manager at the time attempted to make a new record deal with. They were really good songs as well. I don't know what happened. Anyway, Dave moved back to England for about 5 years. Yeah. I sat around for about 2 or 3 months trying to figure out what I wanted to do. I joined a band called the New England Jam Band. Some great players in it: James Montgomery, Charlie Farron, John Butcher, the Uptown Horns, whole bunch of great musicians. And we did that for about 1.5 years. And John Butcher got a new record deal. Charlie Farron had a record deal. So our 2 main singers were no longer. I was left standing with Fran Sheehan, who was the bass player with Boston. He was a bass player in the band. We'd been friends for years. Actually, we did the first tour that Boston ever did was with supporting Foghat. So we became friends. We like to drink wine. But and then it was like what I do now. So Craig McGregor, our bass player, and Eric Cartwright, our guitar player in Foghat, we got together. We got a new singer with a keyboard player, and that didn't work out. Then we got another singer out on the West Coast. That worked out for a while. We did some records, made a couple of Christmas records, and toured until Dave came back around 90, I think. I went to see him and asked him if he wanted to put the original band back together, and he didn't want to do that. But eventually we did, and everything was okay. We arm wrestled around America for a while. What's that?
I heard that getting back together was a lot due to Rick Rubin trying to get you guys back together.
Yeah, apparently I didn't know anything about it, but apparently Rick Rubin showed some interest in wanting to re-record the original band. So we got back together. Rick, as I understand it, got busy. He was doing, I think, Johnny Cash, actually. He was making a Johnny Cash record. Hey, I'll take Johnny Cash over Foghat any day of the week. I'm a big Johnny Cash fan. Well, I used to my older brother used to buy all the early Sun records, back in the 60s. So I'm riding my bike to school when I'm 12 or 13 years old, singing Johnny Cash songs. Nobody else knew him in Southwest London. She loves you, Big River, more than me. Well, I met her accidentally in St. Paul, Minnesota. Stop singing, Roger. I'm sorry. No, I love Johnny Cash. What was so cool about him when I was a kid growing up and listening to his stuff, there was always this really a terrific rhythm. He didn't have a drummer in his first band, the Tennessee Three. Tennessee too. And but there was always this rhythm, and more importantly, there was always a story. Johnny Cash always told a story. I didn't always understand the lyrics and like, what is he talking about? She went just up the bluff and she followed, and I'm going, but hey, Porter. It was like, but there was some magic about Johnny Cash, the way he sang and told stories, and it just reached me, and it did forever and ever. Actually, there's a quick story here. We were doing a cruise a few years back, and Roger Daltrey was on the show. I wanted to go meet him because we are fans of the same football team in London, but I didn't get a chance to do that. Anyway, he sounded great. Roger Daltrey sings great. He had a fantastic band. You know, did some Who songs, did a bunch of his originals as well. And he came back on stage and did some Johnny Cash songs. I mean, how cool is Roger Daltrey, right? Very.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. You know, you mentioned those Rick Rubin, Johnny Cash. We actually had Dave Ferguson, who engineered all those recordings, all those 90s recordings. Yeah, with Johnny at that time, and he was. You know, I mean, that's the crazy part is Johnny kept us cool all the way to the end. He was still cool.
Yeah, he was. Johnny Cash was something else. He was, in my estimation, a real American hero and somebody to look up to.
Absolutely.
He was tall.
That too. That always helps in the looking up category. Yeah. Well, it seems wild. I mean, you know, talking about the career and everything, it seems wild to me that Foghat isn't in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. What do you think, in your unbiased opinion? Should you guys be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, or do you really care?
There's probably a number of bands that need to be in there over us. If they were, well, unfortunately, most of the original band has gone, which makes it a little sad. But you know, Lonesome Dave should be in there. Rob Price should be in there. Craig McGregor should be in there. I don't know if they want me. You know what? You know, I'm good with what I do. I play in a great band. We make music. We tour. We play. We have Foghat's always had some fantastic fans. They've stuck with us, and of course, we've attracted a whole new plethora of younger, you know, fans. You know, from Guitar Hero or the, you know, film scores that we've been in. It's I know how fortunate I am, you know, to be playing, you know, at this point, and more importantly, playing music that I really enjoy, I really love doing, and I'm playing in a band. We're brothers, you know, we get on great. I mean, Scott Holt, who's in his third year now singing with the band, but I've known him since 2014. I mean, he cut his teeth playing with Buddy Guy. He was the second guitar player. He learned to sing and play, and of course I've got to meet Buddy over the years as well. There's a national treasure for you, Buddy Guy. Anyway, Scott Holt, Brian Bassett, our lead and slide guitar player, is also our engineer and producer. He's been with us 28 years now, and so he's in charge of the studio. Rodney O'Quinn joined us about 8 years ago on bass. He was handpicked by Craig McGregor before Craig passed. That was tough. That was a tough one, losing Craig, because we were brothers in every sense of the word. You know, bass player and drummer. You know, like we hung out together, but we were brothers in every way. We didn't always see eye to eye in certain musical moments, but when we played together, it was like
locked in.
Yeah, we've locked. He was my brother in every sense of the word. I love that man.
Well, now you mentioned, you know, getting those new fans. I sort of wonder this. Do you ever notice? Do people tell you, like, when you guys are playing? Do you get people that tell you they came to your concert because of social media? They heard a song on, you know, social media, and that's why they came.
A lot of it is word of mouth. Older brothers, parents playing stuff for their kids. Older brothers playing stuff for their siblings. Yes, hearing stuff on the radio and in films. We were in the last Top Gun movie. They played Snow Ride. I Just Want to Make Love to You, Sown Blue, Fall for the City's been played in films. Also, I've got this thing where if you stick around long enough, people start paying attention. They say stuff like, "Are you still here?" And I can play. I stay on top of my playing. It's important to me. Everybody in the band, takes their playing seriously. We know how to have fun as well, but we have a responsibility, as one for a better word, to entertain people. These folks, have real jobs and have to work a lot of the time. I mean, my work is traveling. That's what I consider work. Sitting in a plane, sitting in a train, sitting in cars. But that hour and a half at night in a theater or a stadium or a festival, that's lifeblood to me. That's oxygen. That's what I live for. And as I said earlier, I play in a great band. We're brothers in every sense of the word. We hang out together. We play music together. We have very similar ideals about how we play, what we play, the sort of music that we play. I broadened my scope as far as what I listen to and like over the years. But anything other than three chords has to be viewed with a certain amount of suspicion.
Yes, agreed. Well, I mean, so the new album is doing well. We were talking about it before we came on there, as far as how it's been doing on the old blues chart. There it is, the old Sonic Mojo, and it's been staying on the Billboard Blues chart. What do you think is fueling that success there?
It's a great record. We're all really proud of what we did on it. Sonically, it really sounds good because Brian Bassett, lead and side guitar and producer, has been working in studios since he was, 25 years old or something. And he's absolutely brilliant. And he has a great set of ears, which is, and it's real. And I think, it connects with people. The songs, there's all the songs were stuff that meant something to us. The songs meant something to us. There's a continuation here. Like we did a Rodney Crowell song on here.
Nice.
And I got a chance to meet or actually talk to Rodney Crowell. He actually called me back. I left a message for him through our manager, who knew his manager, and he called me back and we talked about it. We got a Chuck Berry song on here. We have a Willie Dixon song on here, and there's a bunch of songs that we wrote. So it's like a full circle. We got 3 songs that we co-wrote with Kim Simmons, who was the guitar player with Savoy Brown, gave me my first shot, and who I stayed friends with over the years. So it's sort of like came full circle. And I'm very proud of this record. And hey, number one. It got to number one. We never had a number one anything.
There it is.
Number one on blues charts.
Only took a few years, and you got there.
Yeah. It's really cool.
We actually just had Rodney on the show. He is a super nice guy. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What did he say this time?
Regarding actually, he did have we were just talking about Johnny Cash. He had a really interesting tidbit there. He told me on Johnny Cash, because we were talking, he obviously has played with Emmylou Harris for a very long time, and I was watching a documentary where they brought up in the documentary that Johnny Cash would always say, every once in a while, country music has to get back to Emmylou Harris. And I asked Rodney, I was like, what does that mean? What is he saying about Emmylou Harris? And he was like, well, I don't know.
A fan.
Well,
Johnny Cash was a fan.
He was.
That's how you get into music, by being a fan of music. That's why you want to play music.
Yeah,
we're all fans.
But the extra tidbit he gave me too was he said that Johnny had a huge crush on Emmylou Harris too. He would ask every now and then. He's like, I mean, I know it's but you think she'd like me? You think you would? Rodney was like,
hey,
come on.
You know that L word, love makes the world go around. Lust also has a hand in it. The two favorite L words, right?
Exactly. Well, now, if I were to ask you on this new album, if I said I've only got time for one song, I'm not saying it's your favorite song, but the song you feel like would just sort of encapsulate the album, what would you tell me to play?
Well, you should probably play. I can't pick one. It's like with your children. Pick your favorite. I've got 3 daughters. I love them all. I'm even friends with my ex-wives. Has to be a song that I think we co-wrote with Kim Simmons. Probably Driving On, or She's a Little Bit of Everything. No. Song for Life. Do the one that Rodney Crowell wrote, but it was completely different from the way Rodney Crowell plays it.
Yeah.
Completely different. We just what happened was about 10 or 12 years ago, I'm driving down to Nashville with my wife in the car. This song comes on the radio. I don't drink as much as I ought to. And I go, what's that? And then we lost the station. And I spent years trying to find out where that lyric came from, what song. It comes from a Rodney Crowell song.
Yeah.
And I listened to the song, and I listened to all the lyrics, and Scott Holt, we printed out the lyrics and went, what are we going to do with this? The lyrics are just fabulous, and the song, it means something. It spoke to me. It spoke to Scott as well. Yeah. But we had to put the Foghat thing on it, and I think we did a really good job on it. I really love that song. I like it on there. Let Me Love You, Baby, which is a Willie Dixon song.
Yeah.
Made famous by actually Buddy Guy used to play it, and a bunch of other people, but we do it as well.
Yeah. Well, it came out.
Let's play the whole record. Can you play the record anywhere?
Of course. The whole record is going to be.
Play the whole record. Come on. Like they did back in in the early 70s. They
just let it spin.
Yeah, we got a new album here by Foghat, and hey, let's play the whole record. Those are the days.
And it was. But I do want to say, you are correct. The sonically it came out. I mean, it obviously comes out in the name, but it sounds so good. It does. It's got so many layers as far as, I mean, the bottom end, the drums, the melody, it all comes out so crisp, so good. It sounds so good.
Yeah, Brian Bassett has. He's kind of magic. He's got great ears. A fantastic musician as well.
There it is. Well, now, listeners, make sure you get a copy of Sonic Mojo. You can go on their website, Foghat's website, or you can get any of their other sweet gear. I actually just got the 50th anniversary of their debut album, signed by none other than Mr. Roger Earl. There it is.
Yeah, right. I wrote some liner notes on that, as I'm the only one who can remember what happened. I'm the only one still here. But yeah, that was a magic time for us making that record. And actually, I listened to it a couple of weeks back, and it stands the test of time. you know, I think so long as you know, your heart's in it and it's what you really sort of want to do, it comes through. It shows.
Absolutely. Well, right now, let's take a listen. Let's take a listen to that song, Song for Life, right here on the Doc G Show. And we are back here on the Doc G Show, Spinnaker Radio, WSKRLP 95.5 FM in Jacksonville, Florida. Listeners, you just heard Mr. Roger Earl, and then you just heard Foghat right here on the Doc G Show, Mike. Man, what a crazy career, Mike. That is, you know, you got to give it up. He is a lucky guy when you think about it. Dude that's gotten to jam the way he's wanted to jam with his band for 55 years.
Yeah.
That's nuts, awesome, man. That is a career right there.
Mm-hmm.
That is a long and fantastic career. And you know what? He enjoys it. He doesn't take it for granted. And you know what? Mm-hmm. Hats off to him. I love some Foghat, Mike. Love it. But Mike, we need to move on to the fastest growing segment in the world.
Mike C top 3.
That's true. That is true. And Mike, you gave me one here that, you know, I wasn't thrilled about. Just because like I couldn't find too many curveballs. I guess I could have made up some or something. But here's what I'm sure there are plenty of dog lovers out there that are fairly excited about this. This is the top 3 dog breeds, Mike.
Yeah.
Top 3 dog breeds. And I got to be honest, my list is just plain Jane. That's the thing. That's like, I'm just like, it's not really, I don't know. It's not too jazzy, you know? But that's do you have any honorable mentions, Mike?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
So my honorable mentions, I have 2 of them. First, Golden Retriever. Great dog.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah.
And then the second one would be a Siberian Husky. Those dogs are awesome. I like the wolf. They're smart.
Yeah.
They're always pleasant. At least the ones that I've met are always cool.
Very mild-mannered.
Yeah, mild-mannered.
I hear they are very loyal, Mike.
Yeah.
I hear it takes them a while to trust other folks that are not like their owners. Like, they won't be, like, crazy to the other person. They just won't trust them. They'll be like, I don't know about you.
Yeah.
Don't know. You're not my owner. You know, that's what I hear. I don't know.
Yeah.
I haven't seen this, you know, up close and personal. Are those the 2?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. I don't have any honorable mentions, Mike. I'm going to go into my number 3.
All right.
These guys make me chuckle, and they look pretty goofy, and I like them. Corgis, my number 3.
Yeah.
Love these little fellas, man. I totally get why the former Queen of England loved Corgis, because they're just little goofy dogs, man. They got their little legs. They're like a squattier version of a wiener dog without the floppy ears and fluffy ears, you know? I just, they make me laugh, those guys. So, number 3, Corgi.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going with. You know?
That's a good one. That's a good number 3.
I enjoy those guys. Number 3 for you, Mike.
Well, Doc G, you know, I'm from the Southeast.
Uh-huh.
A lot of friends that are Southern people.
Okay.
So anyways, my number 3 is going to be pit bulls. I'm a fan of pit bulls. I love them. Every pit bull that I've ever interacted with, always a good time.
Mike, they're too over eager to please. That's my issue with pit bulls. All my friends that have had pit bulls, they come up to you, and once they know you're their friend, they are just gonna try to lick the out of you at all times. And I'm like, bro, a little space, man. We're trying to have a conversation, and you're just all up in my business. All right, it's a little bit much, you know.
Not me. I love it. I love it. Yeah.
Oh, they're
Come
getting
on over. Let's be friends.
It's too much, man. They're too much on me all the time. That was, Cooper, my friend Cooper, my friend Craig. Both of them had pit bulls, and those pit bulls were just all the time. Just as soon as you get over there, like, oh my God, I haven't seen you in like 5 minutes. I gotta lick your face, man. I'm like, no, you don't need to lick my face. That's not necessary. Mike, my number 2 was your honorable mention, Golden Retriever.
Yeah.
Golden Retrievers just they're my speed of dog. Usually, there are some hyperactive Golden Retrievers, but I'm a big fan of the old Golden Retrievers. See a good Golden Retriever that's like 7 years old, that dude's not doing much. He's just gonna sit there and sleep, look at you, be all fluffy, and then if you bring him enough food, he'll smile at you. You know, those Golden Retrievers always got a smile going on, and I enjoy that about them.
It's very obvious.
You know, they got a smile going on, and I can get behind that. So yeah, and they usually I will say out of the dogs that I have petted, I will say they have the softest fur. So
they do have soft fur. Yeah, I never thought about that, but yeah, you're right.
I enjoy a good soft fur. You know.
Yeah.
Because I mean, most dogs, no offense, dogs, but you have coarser hair than cats. Cats have very fluffy hair. It's very soft.
Yeah.
It's like petting a carpet, like a very fine carpet, and you're like, oh, nice. Ooh. But then a dog, you're like, oh, this is a little bit. This is more for utility, not for not for fluffiness, you know? So, but Golden Retrievers, fluffy hair. They got really fluffy hair. Yeah. Mike, you're number 2.
My number 2, English Bulldog. Yeah, I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of the English Bulldogs. They just look like they're just chilling. You know, they're funny looking.
Mike, I'm going to go ahead and spoil it. My number 1, Bulldog.
Yeah.
Bulldog.
Yeah, they're great.
I love them too, man. I love them. They are, I love it because they always look like they're flabbergasted by their owner's request. Like, the owner will be like, let's call it that. And one of my favorite things, Bulldog with just a human name. One of my favorite things, like Jeff the Bulldog. And you're just like, Jeff. And Jeff looks over like, are you serious? Are you calling me right now? Like, I just remember there was a perfect moment. I was in Savannah, Georgia, and there was a little bench that ran along the street. Like, it was just like 1.5 feet off the ground, and it ran like a good 100 meters down the sidewalk. And there was a lady with a bulldog, and the bulldog was on a leash. And the lady slapped the bench and was like, come on, buddy, hop up. And the bulldog just looked up at her like, are you serious? Look at me. There is no way I'm getting up on that thing. Like, he didn't even make an effort. He didn't even move from where he was at. He was just like, no, that is not happening. Come on, man.
Yeah.
I can barely breathe as we are now. I'm not going to jump up on that thing. Look at me. I'm not athletic. Get out of here. Yeah. Bulldogs. Yeah. It's my favorite thing about them.
They do have that look. They do have that look of, are you joking?
Yeah, they have this. They have an understanding that they are not amazing.
They know what they're capable of.
Yeah, they're not physiological, anomalies. They're not these amazing feats of strength. They're just like, I'm a goofy dog. This is.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for my food, and I enjoy to sleep. Those are the things that I like, you know?
Yeah. I saw this recently. We were walking around this park nearby. There was a bulldog, English bulldog. I've never seen one run at full speed, but man, he was fast. He must have been a young guy. And it's just a fast little, just crazy seeing a bulldog run at full speed.
It doesn't take long, Mike. It doesn't take long for him to lose it. Like, that's the thing. It doesn't take long for them to turn 2 years old and then just right down.
I felt like we were witnessing a very rare moment in this bulldog's life.
That's
running
true.
Full speed across this park. It was beautiful.
From then on, he's going to tell everybody, man, you should have seen me. Back in the day, I was at this park. I was moving lightning speed. You wouldn't even known it was me. I was going so fast. Anyways, Mike, your number one.
Yeah, my number one. I've actually never even seen one of these dogs in person, but they look incredible. The Tibetan Mastiff. The Tibetan Mastiff.
The giant dog.
Yeah, it looks like a big lion.
Those guys are huge.
Yeah, it's a massive thing. It's yeah.
I have seen one in person, Mike.
You have?
I have.
Oh, wow.
I forget where I was. I was somewhere out, traveling the world, and he's absolutely huge. Like he was on a leash, and he came up like he was sitting on his haunches, sitting back on his butt, basically on his and he came up to my chest pretty much. And I was like, that's a huge dog. That is a very huge dog.
Oh wow, that's awesome that you got to see one in person. I can't imagine this.
It definitely attracted some gawking. There were a bunch of people that were just like, what the? Does that person have a bear on a leash? What is that? They're pretty huge, man. They are pretty massive, and I don't think I petted him. I'm pretty sure I didn't, but they do look like they have some pretty soft fur.
Yeah, they do. But I don't know if I feel like I read this somewhere about them, but they're not that friendly of a dog.
I mean,
but that could be totally.
You could wear them down.
You wear them down.
Yeah, when they're puppies, you wear them down. They're
Yeah.
Anyways, Mike, what do we have for next week?
How about top 3 favorite things you like to draw?
Favorite things?
Or doodle. Yeah, top three doodle things. Wait, no. Top 3 doodles. Yeah.
Favorite doodles of all time?
Things to draw, yeah. Things to draw, yeah. Like, there's things you like to draw. There's things you like to, when you're just sitting in a doctor's appointment or I don't know. You have a piece of paper in front of you and you
used to
just
put them
draw
up in
something.
the corner. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You got anything?
Yeah. I do, but I don't know if it's
think
3. If it's like 3 things. Do we have any other options, Mike, or is that you exhausted?
Doc G, I'm sorry, but that's I really thought that was going to be
I came with 1 bullet. That was it, man.
Yeah, let's do top 3 drawings. Doc G, I'm sure you got 3 things that you
Mike's
specialize.
I've got things I draw, okay?
I don't even think I have 3. I definitely have 1, and then
Mike was like, I came up with this top 3, and I was like, I don't have 3 things. Sounds good. Let's do it. That's nice. That's
pretty much.
All right. Okay. Next week, top
cool.
3 things we enjoy drawing.
Yeah.
Our 3 top drawing choices. Mike, we've got 2 birthday suits left. Let's see here. Do you want to go with the film producer / writer, or do you want to go with the musician?
Let's try the more challenging. I think is going to be the film producer / writer. We'll see.
Pretty well known. Born on March 27, 1963 in Knoxville, Tennessee. He created movies like Reservoir Dogs, Pulp Fiction, Kill Bill, Jackie Brown, Inglourious Bastards, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Name that birthday suit wearer.
Quentin Tarantino.
Quentin Tarantino is correct, Mike. There we go. Fun fact about Quentin. First job he had in film was a production assistant on Dolph Lundgren's exercise video, Maximum Potential.
Oh.
So the dude from Rocky IV, he was a production assistant on his workout tape. Dope.
That's a cool credit.
Dope. Yeah. And then, also fun fact, played an Elvis impersonator on an episode of The Golden Girls in 1988.
Ah, that's fun.
Yeah. Reservoir Dogs came out in 92, Pulp Fiction 94, Jackie Brown 97, Kill Bill 2003. He's got a new movie, Mike, coming out this year. This I think he claims is his last.
Yeah,
He's
it's his last one, right?
Not going to be doing any more after this. This is the movie critic, Mike. The movie critic.
Cool.
Coming out this year. There you go, Mike. 2 for 2. Here we go. Let's see. I'm pretty positive you can make it 3 for 3. Here's the clue. Lead female singer of the Black Eyed Peas, and she had a solo album with the single London Bridge.
Fergie.
Fergie is correct. There we
Let's
go, Mike.
3 for 3.
3 for 3.
Yeah, boy.
And Mike, apparently, according to Wikipedia, she was a cheerleader, a straight A student, and a spelling bee champion, and a Girl Scout in high school.
Heck yeah.
Apparently. That's what
Girl
they say.
Scout.
I'm guessing
Scout in high
Girls.
school?
I was about to say, I guess the Girl Scout was before high school. I'm guessing that was elementary, maybe middle school. But she started doing voiceover work, Mike. Then she got a record deal with the female trio singing group Wild Orchid.
Wild Orchid.
Yeah, Wild Orchid. Yeah, apparently she had some. That was where she went a little, little bananas. Little bananas with the sex and the drugs at that time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Went a little.
Never mind.
Dude, that was Gwen Stefani that went bananas. Okay.
Never mind.
Bananas. Come on now.
Yeah.
The group though, Wild Orchids, broke up 2001, and then will.i.am invited her to the old Black Eyed Peas to record on Elefunk. And their first single was Where Is the Love? That was the first big single with her. And then, they came out with more, Pump It Up, My Humps. Then she came out with her solo album, The Duchess, in 2016. Then it was another 12, sorry. It was another 11 years before her second album came out, Double Duchess, in 2017. And Mike, I couldn't help but put this in there. In 2018, she performed the Star Spangled Banner at the NBA All-Star Game, and it was probably the worst rendition I have ever heard of the Star Spangled Banner. Absolutely atrocious. It was gross.
Oh, man.
No offense to Fergie, but I mean, she's a good singer, but that was rough, man. That was rough. She tried to go off on this jazzed up version of it. She slowed it down and tried to make it jazzy, and it was not. It was not it. That was not it.
Nah.
Yeah, and she got.
That.
I do believe she got roasted for that pretty hard on the old social medias. I do recall it was pretty bad. I'm pretty positive we talked about how bad it was on the show, Mike. Yeah, we did, because that was 2018. We definitely talked about it. But regardless, Mike, 3 for 3, nicely done. Nicely done.
Thank you.
We have some fantastic shows coming up. Can't wait for some of these shows. Next week, we have the huge band Need to Breathe on the show. That's going to be fantastic. Can't wait to have these guys on the show. We've got Josh and Seth from the group. Fantastic. Can't wait to talk to them. They've got a huge tour coming up, playing stadiums, Mike. Stadiums and big old theaters and stadiums, awesome. Like the real deal stuff, Nice. But then again, they've been doing it ever since they toured with Taylor Swift back in 2011. That's right, I said Taylor Swift. They opened for her, Mike. Yeah.
That's
90,
pretty cool.
90 shows. Taylor Swift. That was it. Yeah. Yeah, they did it. They did it. We talked about it in the interview, so get excited for it, listeners.
Cool.
But after that, we've got G-Flip on the show. They will be touring in the U.S. here a good, I think it's like 50 shows, something like that. Crazy. Can't wait to talk to them. But, Mike, we are going to have to wrap it up for this week. I have been your host, Doc G. With me, as always, the one, the only, Mikey Maximus, the Verticus Charette.
Thank you, Doc G. Always a pleasure.
Of course. And until next week, zip it up and zip it out.
Zippity-doo-dah.